Today's video is sponsored by Metal TV. Metal TV is a brand new app that makes it much easier to record and share your gameplay. It's completely free and it's available on desktop, Android, and iOS. It also has the capability to record in 1080p plus 60 FPS. All you have to do in order to get Metal TV for yourself is go down and click on the link in the description. Once you have the app, you'll be able to access your clips captured on your PC with your phone, and you can also do the reverse and have your Android clips available on your PC as well. The concept is very simple. Anytime that you're playing a game, all you have to do is hit the hotkey anytime you want to clip a moment. And since the recorder is consistently recording and deleting footage in the background, it will only save your clip once you hit that hotkey. Once you have your clip, Metal makes sharing very easy by giving you a link that you can post to different socials as needed. Often sites will try to compress and cause clips to lose quality when you upload them, but use Metal links to share your clips at full quality. Try it out today, get Metal by using the link in the description, and with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video. What's going on, Nasteey Nation? Welcome back to another video. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at every ADC champion in the game and ranking them based on how much I honestly hate playing with these champions, how likely I am to lose whenever I'm paired with one of these champions, whenever I'm supporting one of them. So yeah, it should be a pretty fun video. This is actually a video idea that was brought to you by Aoki. He did this kind of similar thing and uploaded on his Twitter. I thought it was a really genius idea, so I figured I might as well make a whole video out of it and kind of go through my thought process as I'm doing it. If you guys like this video, if you want to see more like this, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, all that stuff. It really does help with the algorithm and helps, you know, get my videos some more attention. So with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started with Affilios. Affilios, I'm going to say Affilios is a pretty complicated champion. Like, there's a lot going on with Affilios, and I feel like the marksman players who are willing to put themselves to the test to play Affilios and perfect Affilios, they kind of know what they're doing. You're not going to run into a lot of Affilios players that don't understand what they're doing. They always have a good idea. Like, I don't even understand what this champion does entirely, even though he's been out for a while, but they always know exactly how to play the lane. They know how to manage their different guns and weapons, and they're able to play the lane well. And even though he's a pretty immobile champion, I don't really see too many Affilios players running it down. For the most part, whenever I'm with an Affilios, I feel like I'm in good hands. I feel comfortable. I feel like they can put in some good work, and we have a good shot at winning bot lane. So I think that's a good starting place for Affilios. Next up, we're going to go ahead and take a look at Ashe. So I love ADC champions that have CC because, in my opinion, I hate when I'm a support and I'm the one that's always doing all the playmaking, always trying to engage for my team. So if my team has some CC and they can engage, it's, you know, twice as much danger that the enemy is in. There's more things they have to look out for. So an Ashe ulti, for example, is something the enemy team should have to fear. And that's something that should help us win lane harder. However, I've seen too many Ashe players, even in high elo, they just don't know how to use their ulti. And maybe this is because Ashe is a pretty simple marksman. So a lot of people who are auto-filled might be picking this champion. But it just feels like I really don't know if my Ashe is going to be able to know how to use their ulti or when to use their ulti. Like, they're either going to be an American sniper nailing people from across the map, or they're just going to use their ult at the worst times possible and miss by a lot. So because of that, I'm going to go with the coin flip here. And then we're going to move on to Caitlyn. I really enjoy Caitlyn. I think Caitlyn's probably the best lane bully ADC in the game just because she's so good at sieging. She can put her traps down in the tower. Really good at getting plates early game, getting a lead early game. She has like the longest base range out of any ADC, I believe. And I can pair her with a lot of things, like a lot of mage bot lanes, or just any bot lane that has some, or any support that has some poke. So I really enjoy playing with the Caitlyn. You could also layer the CC if you're playing something like Lux, Zyra, Morgana, Xerath support even. If you land your CC, they put a trap down, you can get some pretty easy kills. I really enjoy playing with Caitlyn. And I feel like we win lane more times than not just because she's one of the best lane bullies in the entire game. So I feel like that's a good spot to plug her in. Up next, we're going to move on to Corki, and Corki's here just because he's technically a marksman in ADC, but you never see Corki bot lane anymore. I would personally not be too excited even if I saw Corki mid these days. I just don't think he's super meta at the moment. But if I see him bot lane ever, for sure gonna go next. He just doesn't work down there anymore. It just simply doesn't work. Not enough range, not enough playmaking ability. Even his mobility isn't even that great. His package is mainly used for roaming, which is why he can get plugged into the mid lane nicely. ADC though, if I have a Corki ADC, I'm probably just going to go next. As for Draven I really like because similar to Caitlyn, he can be a lane bully. You usually play Draven really aggressive. You're looking to cash in early. But Draven players, man, are just so hit or miss. You're either going to get a very humble Draven player who just is good at the game, hard carries, doesn't say a single thing, or you're going to get the stereotypical really toxic Draven player who, if a single thing goes wrong, they're going to let you know how they're feeling and they're going to flame you. So yeah, it's going to be a coin flip for me. You're either going to get the good Draven or you're going to get the toxic Draven. And the thing about toxic Dravens is they could be good mechanically, but then once they start like, you know, typing and they start getting toxic and they start tilting, then they approach like the running it down phase of Draven players. So yeah, it's really a coin flip there. As for Ezreal, those of you guys who have been around my channel for a while or have watched my streams, you know just how much I absolutely hate playing with Ezreal. Ezreal is my least favorite ADC to play with in the entire game. I wish I could have a category just for him because I despise playing with Ezreal that much. But, you know, it's fitting that Corki's down here as well. Ezreal, the problem with Ezreal is, well, for one thing, I feel like a lot of people who just are trying to play for fun pick up Ezreal because, trust me, I mean, when I play normals or whatever it may be, sometimes I pick Ezreal too. A lot of skill shots, pretty fun champion. But because he's so skill shot based, it's really hard to play him to the top of his ability. You have to be able to actually use abilities compared to most ADCs that are just right clicking the majority of the time. And people just don't know how to kind of mix those in. You see a lot of Ezreal players who are just sitting back using Q over and over and not ever mixing in their auto attacks. The other problem with Ezreal is he's a champion that likes to just scale, sit back in the lane phase, scale the 2 items, and then start playing the game. And it's just so boring, honestly, when you're laning with an Ezreal and they're all the way at the back of the lane. Especially whenever I'm playing a support that has Relic Shield, I'll try to be proccing my Relic Shield throughout the lane phase, but my Ezreal's standing so far back, farming with Q, that I can't even proc my Relic Shield. It's a problem that I've seen a ton lately, and it's really, really frustrating. Overall, I just really do not enjoy playing with Ezreal players at all, and I consider dodging every single time I see this locked in. But if it does go through, most likely going next. As for Jhin, I don't really know how to feel about Jhin. I feel like this is going to be a coin flip for me. I'm not too passionate one way or the other. Jhin players, I feel like they usually know what they're doing, but sometimes the skill shots are just not there. I can see some Jhins going 0 for 4 with their ulti, missing their Ws. Yeah, I feel like he can be kind of a difficult champion at time. He does have a lot of skill shots that are really crucial if you're landing them. And Jhin as a champion, I think, takes a lot of time. So I'm going to throw Jhin into coin flip here. Moving on to Jinx. My opinion when it comes to Jinx has definitely changed a lot in the past year or so. I used to look at Jinx as like a really hard carrying late game ADC that just needed to farm. And then I realized recently that Jinx players don't always have that mentality. And a lot of the times, for one reason or another, we end up getting a lot of work done with Jinx. And I think it's because she does have some good utility. She has the trap. She has a slow with her W. So she has good follow-up. She has good 2v2, and she's also really good at following up on ganks. So if you had asked me this like a year or two ago, I would have been a little iffy on it. Kind of reminded me of Ezreal a while back, where you're just kind of playing safe throughout the lane phase. But Jinx players these days, they don't always wait till late game to carry. I feel like we get a lot of work done early game. I'm going to throw Jinx into probably win bot lane. As for Kaiser, I don't know. I feel like Kaiser is a good champion, and I remember early on in season 11, she was really, really OP. But these days, I just kind of have like a bad taste in my mouth, I guess. She's just not as strong. I think her base range is too low, and I see a lot of Kaiser players going in and just getting one shot. So due to recency bias, I'm going to throw Kaiser in unlikely to win bot lane. But again, it's probably just because recently she hasn't been super meta, and I haven't had the greatest of experiences with Kaiser. Also, just because I do like playing aggressive, and I feel like Kaiser can't really play too aggressive until she has her ulti. And often we can kind of fall behind early game because of that. But yeah, maybe I'll just plug her in there. I'm okay with that. As for Kalista, I really enjoy playing with Kalista. Kalista players, You don't find too many of them, but when you do come across them, they really know what they're doing. It's probably one of the most difficult ADCs to play in the entire game. I don't play a whole lot of ADC, so I wouldn't know. But just between laning with her all these years, I feel like this is a pretty difficult champion. I really like what Kalista players are able to do. I really like her kit as a whole, able to kind of kite herself around and keep herself safe. Also with her ulti allowing for more playmaking potential. Very mechanically difficult champion, and Kalista players typically know what they're doing, so I will take that every day of the week. As for Kog'Maw, personally, I don't really play too many Enchantress supports. I played a lot of like Nami, for example, back in Season 6, Season 7. But the last season or two, I've kind of gotten away from playing the Enchantress supports. I play a lot of tank supports, a lot of engage supports, Rakan, Leona, Zac support, even Gragas support, stuff like that. And those don't pair as well with Kog'Maw. When you're playing with a Kog'Maw, you typically just want to sit back, buff him up, let him do all the work. That's why you always see the Kog'Maw Lulu strat, because that's really good. I just don't see myself having much of a chance with it, but I don't think it's nearly as bad as Ezreal, so I'll put it in unlikely to win bot lane. Maybe we somehow survive, make it to late game, and then he's able to just sit back as I go in and engage for my team, something along those lines. So yeah, I'm okay with that. As for Lucian is not really as good as an ADC these days as he used to be. He's much more of a solo laner. But Lucian players can still be fun. I like how aggressive they can be. I'm going to put this in a coin flip. Maybe you get an auto-filled mid laner who tries to play ADC and they run it down. Or maybe you get a Lucian one-trick on your team who is really good at playing the bot lane. Lucian, when he gets ahead, is very, very problematic. Really good in the 1v1. 2v2, not so much, but still, if you get ahead, you're going to win bot lane, so I like that. As for Misfortune, I actually really enjoy Misfortune. She's got a good amount of follow-up if you are playing an engage support or something like that. Let's say you're playing Leona, you go in, you lock down a target. Really, really hard to mess this up when you're playing the Misfortune in this scenario. You just press E to drop the slow, you press your R, and then you take your hands off the keyboard and let your ultimate, one-shot somebody. So I really like her follow-up. Good damage, good team fighting. She has that movement speed. I believe it's from her W, so that allows her to kite around a little bit easier and stay alive longer, hopefully. She also has really good poke. I like her 2v2s. I'm a big fan of Misfortune. I'm going to put her and probably win bot lane. As for Samira, I don't really know where I'm going to go with this. I'm leaning towards coin flip or probably win lane. This is another recency bias where I feel like Samira was OP at one point in time. These days she's not as strong, but it's not as bad as Kaiser. Just because I'm iffy about this, I'm going to put this in coin flip. Sometimes you get the Samira players who really, really know what they're doing. They go in, they completely destroy everybody. Other times you get the Samira who dashes in and gets one shot without really accomplishing too much. So, yeah, I'm going to throw Samira coin flip. You never really know how that's going to go. Moving on now into Senna. Senna, I'm not a huge fan of laning with. And that's just because if there's going to be a Senna in the bot lane, as someone who's played a lot of Senna, I prefer to be the one playing Senna. And yeah, I think another reason is because Senna is also very popular with the funnel strategy, and I don't really like funneling because that means I'm the one CSing. And overall, I just don't have a whole lot of luck in my history when I'm paired with a Senna ADC. If I'm the one playing Senna, I think there's a really good chance we're winning bot lane. If I'm paired with the Senna, probably unlikely to win bot lane. So we'll go ahead and plug her in there. Moving on to Sivir. Sivir, I feel like, is a champion that is nearly impossible to lose bot lane with. It's really simple. You just walk up to lane, you shove in the minion wave with your Q and your W, and you just have to use your spell shield properly, and they can't really engage on you. I don't think we're going to get a ton of kills, unless we're getting a lot of ganks and setting up the ganks really, really well. For the most part, though, you just play Sivir and you shove in the wave over and over and over until you're farmed up, and then you play for team fights, and then you just do a bunch of AoE damage with your auto attacks, and you just ult. It's a pretty simple champion. Doesn't really take a whole lot of skill or anything. Nothing too special going on here if I'm laning with a Sivir, but because of the way the champion is designed, it's really hard to lose lane. So just for that reason, I'll go ahead and put Sivir in, probably win bot lane. As for Tristana, This one's tricky because I really do like the Tristana's playstyle. Her ability to go in and out of fights, to follow up on team fights or follow up on engages really easily. She also has some self-peel with her ultimate. But I do see some Tristana players jumping in at the most random times and getting themselves killed. But for the most part, I think if my Tristana is competent and they understand how to play the champion to 90% of its capability, I think we're winning bot lane every single time, especially with my playstyle. I like to play aggressive. I like to look for trades if we can. And I think if I'm landing my abilities and I'm able to engage, and hopefully it's just a 2v2, jungler doesn't show up or anything like that, me and Tristana are going to win lane 9 times out of 10. As for Twitch, completely different playstyle. You're not really going in, kind of similar to Kog'Maw. You're scaling for late game. I don't think I need to talk too much about Twitch. Just because, as I said, it's a very simple comparison to Kog'Maw. Late game champion likes to get buffed up, not really the type to engage early on. So for that reason, I'll just plug him into unlikely to win bot lane. Varus. So Varus, a lot of people have stopped by my stream over the years and asked me who my favorite ADC to play with is, and that's always Varus. Varus has good poke. He's got good damage. He's got really good follow-up. He's got some utility with his ulti and his E. His ulti also providing some engage. Similar to Ashe, in the sense that having 2 people to worry about in the bot lane when it comes to who's going to engage creates a lot of pressure, really threatening for the enemy team. Except Ashe players, where they usually miss 50% of their ultis, Varus players can hit the large majority of theirs. They also have that R flash mechanic that can be really flashy and help set up ganks. And yeah, I really like Varus for all of those reasons, so I'm cool with that. We're going to go down to Vayne. Vayne, I just feel like I always lose when I go with Vayne, whenever I'm paired with Vayne, but it's not for sure. Vayne, as you'll see, these are all just like the scaling champions that I don't mesh super well with. The more aggressive a champion is, the more likely they are to push or play aggro or look for trades, anything like that, the more likely I feel we're going to win bot lane together. When it comes to these scaling ADCs, not so much. And Vayne just has a short range. I feel like the majority of the bot lane is spent with the Vayne just auto-tumbling, autoing the minions, rarely looking for trades. Doesn't have great follow-up, doesn't have long range, doesn't have anything really to offer other than scaling. She is good late game in team fights, especially when she's going invisible. And there's obviously people like Gosu who are able to pop off with Vayne, have these super flashy, insane montages. But I prefer to win lane, and I don't really want to wait for the montage play. So I'm going to plug Vayne in there. And then for the last ADC on the list, because I am someone who has so much time invested into Rakan, even though Xayah Rakan is not nearly as strong of a combo as it once was, I will always love playing that bot lane. Anytime I see a Xayah on my team, I'm more than likely going to be playing Rakan, and I feel like we're winning lane every single time. Whether that be at the level 1 if we're cheesing them, or if we just manage to win lane 2v2 gradually. It's a phenomenal bot lane. I love playing the bot lane. Probably my favorite bot lane combo in the entire game. Although I do love pairing with a Varus. As far as a support ADC combo, gotta love Xayah Rakan. So that's gonna wrap up this list. Definitely let me know down in the comment section below how your list would differ compared to this one. I'd be really interested to see which ADCs you guys like playing with and which ADCs you guys don't like playing with. And also, as I said at the very beginning of the video, if you guys did go on to enjoy it, leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, all that stuff really does help a lot with the algorithm in helping get this channel jump started and getting these videos seen by other people. So that is going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video to the very end. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.